So our today's lesson 1.2 on saying please. Let us start with the icebreakers. List the words of courtesy that we use in our daily life. Discuss them with your partner and explain the purpose of using each. So the words of courtesy are the words of actually a gentle person, the words which show how civilized you are. So there are some words, for example, one is given like thank you. So we say thank you to a particular person when he offers some kind of help to you. So take care. The meaning of this word take care is that if that particular person is departing from you, he's going somewhere, we just want him to be safe and happy, we say take care. Can I help you or may I help you? This word of courtesy is used when a person is willing to help somebody else in need. You are welcome. This means that you are welcome to take my help anytime, or I can help you anytime. This is also means that you don't have to mention that you are very thankful to me, that I know that thing. Excuse me. This word of courtesy is used if you are willing to not disturb any particular person, but if you're willing to say anything to a person, say that two people are talking and you're standing next to that particular person and you want to put forth your word, so you cannot just start interrupting that particular discussion. You have to say excuse me and then you go on. Sorry is a word of courtesy which means a lot of things. Sorry can mean that you are sorry for what you did, or sorry can mean that you want to put something you want to tell to that particular group of people or a person. Or sorry also means that you want to interrupt an conversation. It means many things. Pardon me means this particular word of courtesy is used when you are unable to hear a particular conversation or you want to rehear it again. May I, this is also actually a kind of courtesy word which interrupts, and it's a polite way of interrupting somebody and putting forth your opinion. So the next is, listed below are a few character traits of people. Some are positive traits while others are not. Tick the ones you feel are desirable, means which are attractive. So there are some characteristic traits here given. First is conniving. Conniving means deceiving, a kind of planning or plotting. So this is not trait, not desirable. So I have marked all the undesirable as red slashes, and which are desirable are in green. So insensitive, not showing any compassion, that is also undesirable. Sly means planning and plotting and all those things, which is also undesirable. Then naive means innocent here, but this innocence is a kind of innocence that a particular person shows knowingly. This is not innocence. Aggressive means very angry all the time, boasting himself. Scheming, planning and plotting again. Egoistic, has some kind of ego. He's always talking, that particular person is always talking about himself or herself, and you cannot speak with him, you cannot put your opinion. Manipulative means try to manipulate your mind, try to make you go through his opinion. Rude, not behaving properly. Boastful means he's always trying to show that he's something good or she's something good, better than you, proving herself around you. Territorial here means that this is particularly my field, you cannot do these things here and that things. So these people are territorial. So let us talk about the desirable quotes. So desirable traits here are humorous. If a person is good in humor, if a person knows how to lit the environment, how to turn the sad environment into a very nice and healthy environment, he should be humorous. Next is benevolent. That particular person is spreading love. He is kind of helping everybody. Wise, he helps you when you are required. He does not show any time of ego. He just helps you. He is willing to give you the answers. He is willing to help you, giving you opinions. Humble means even if that particular person knows everything and you just help that particular person, is humble to take your help. He's not saying that I know everything, then why you're helping me. He's humble to receive it. If he has everything but yet that particular person thinks that he has nothing. Servile here means, servile are those people who are willing to help everybody. No matter what happens, this particular people are always ready to help people. Patronizing here means a feeling. This particular type of people, they show equal opportunity or they show equality between you. There is no superior or inferior things. They think that everybody is equally, they treat everybody equally. And generous means a kind person who's ready to help you. So all the green ones are the desirable ones and all the red ones are the undesirable ones. So the next one is etiquettes and manners are very important for a person to live in a society. Etiquettes means your good manners, how you behave in the society. Read the following and put them in a proper column. So you have to read them and you have to put in a proper column. So first one is, let us understand what is all of this first. To receive phone calls while you are in a lecture or a class, to knock before you enter your principal's office, to thank the person who offers you tea or coffee, to be polite and courteous to others, to leave the classroom without the teacher's permission, to occupy the seats reserved for ladies or physically challenged or elderly people on a bus or a train. So how many of you, let us see how many of you think what is appropriate and what is inappropriate. So I have put here numbers. For first one I have put in 2 here. This shows that, so the first one appropriate, let us see. Second one, which is to knock before you enter your principal's office. This shows your etiquette for the elderly people. Then the third one, to thank the person who offers you tea or coffee. This is also showing courtesy towards that particular person. Then to be polite and courteous to others. That is to be polite and helpful to others. So all these are desirable and all these are appropriate. Now let's talk about the inappropriate. The first one is to receive phone calls while you are in a lecture or a class. So many of you have this particular habit. Some people do it knowingly or unknowingly. Maybe there's a call from your family members. No, maybe that call is very important to take. So many a times you receive the phone calls, but the right way of doing that is like excuse me, saying excuse me to the teacher or the lecturer, and then receiving the call, then it can be appropriate. But without giving prior notation to any of the, what is it, authorities or the class teacher or the lecturer, and you are receiving your call in the class, now that is inappropriate. The next is the fifth one, to leave the classroom without the teacher's permission. That is running away from the class. So this is also inappropriate. In the same manner like the first one, I said that if you take the permission of that particular authority and leave the class, then it would be appropriate. But without the permission you are leaving the class, that means it is inappropriate. Then the sixth one is to occupy the seats reserved for ladies or physically challenged or elderly people on a bus or a train. So this particular thing is very common around you. Maybe that particular another person does that, so you feel that I should also do that, and you do that things. So it is technically talking, it is actually rude and it is wrong. So as we have studied in the icebreakers, our today's lesson is giving a glimpse of our today's theme or topic of the lesson. It is just saying on saying please. So our today's lesson is about the words of courtesy used, such as please, thank you, welcome, may I, sorry, pardon me, and etc. So our today's writer himself is Alfred George Gardiner, 1865 to 1946, and was born at Chelmsford in Essex in 1865. He started his literary career as a journalist. So our today's writer was, prior being a writer, he was a literary journalist. At the age of 37, he was appointed editor of the Daily News of London, one of very big news channels, or one of very important newspapers throughout the world is the Daily News, under the pseudonym, pen name Alpha of the Plough. So pseudonym or the pen names are used by some of the writers or some of the poets as to make hide their identity. If that particular person is unable to prove his name in the literary career, and he thinks that his name is not that attractive to attract the readers, or people will not take interest in his writing, so these people use a different name that is known as the pen name, such as Alpha of Plough. Names or some of the pseudonyms are as follows. George Orwell was also known as Eric Arthur Blair. This was his real name, but his pen name was George Orwell. Then we have the famous writer Mark Twain, whose original name or real name was Samuel Clemens. And then we have a very famous Indian poet Kusumagraj, and his real name was Vishnu Vaman Shivatkar. So you know this particular idea of using the pseudonyms is very common in writers or poets. So now let us talk about Alfred George Gardiner. He made regular contributions to the daily news. So, Alpha of Plough made regular contributions to the daily news, the Manchester Evening News, etc. His essays are uniformly elegant, graceful, and humorous. So, let us understand about his writings. So, his writings are elegant, means they are rich in their words. They are very graceful. Being rich in words, it enhances the beauty of his words. So whatever message he wants to give, he will give it very nicely and perfectly. And very humorous, means there is some kind of comedy behind it. The Pillars of Society, Pebbles on the Shore, Many Furrows and Leaves in the Wind are some of his best known writings. So these are his known writings, which are the Pillars of Society, Pebbles on the Shore, and Many Furrows and Leaves in the Wind. So his uniqueness lies in his ability to teach the basic truths of life in an easy and amusing manner. He raised the question of morality in everyday life. So this particular person, Alfred George Gardiner, he tried to give the message of and importance of morality. Morality means being very ethical, being a good, gentle person in your life. So in this particular lesson, in on saying please, he points out the value of good manners in social life and emphasizes the importance of courtesy and politeness in daily behavior. So he's pointing out that a person should have good values and good manners. If you're living in a society, you will be known because of your good manners, how you behave in the society, how you behave with the unknown people. The behavior of a person at his home is quite different from the behavior that he shows in the social life. So he emphasizes that a person should cherish these values of good manners, and he emphasized the importance of courtesy and politeness in the daily behavior. He says that if you are being a part of a social life, you should have this courtesy and politeness inside you. He shows how polite speech and manner sweetens the atmosphere around, and how discourtesy and ill manners spoils or pollutes it. So in this particular chapter, he's showing two truths of life, or two ways of life. In the first, he shows how the polite speech, that is your polite manner, sweetens the atmosphere, and in the second, he's showing you, if you don't behave or if you don't follow these polite ways, how it can spoil and pollute the atmosphere. On saying please, the young liftman in a city office who threw a passenger out of his lift the other morning and was fined for the offense was undoubtedly in the wrong. So in the opening setting, we see that a person, a young liftman, a liftman is that particular person who's inside the lift and who guides you up and down in a particular building. In some buildings they don't have, but in some ethical buildings, the buildings of IT or corporate sectors, or usually societies, have a person. Then that particular, when you enter that particular lift, you have to tell that particular person on which floor you want to go, and that particular person is known as a liftman. So if I am going in some kind of building, a metropolitan building, and there is a lift inside it and there is a person there, I have to tell him that which floor I have to go. You don't have to do the work of pressing the buttons, he does it for you. He is like the caretaker or security for you in the lift. So a young liftman in a city office who threw a passenger out of the lift the other morning, means this particular incident happened a day before, and we came to know it after on the next day. What did that young liftman do? He threw out a passenger. So that passenger is that particular person who was traveling up and down in that particular lift that day, and he was thrown out in earlier the morning and was fined for the offense, was undoubtedly in the wrong. And since he did something wrong, so this liftman had done, he had thrown out a passenger, and that was incorrect according to the law. In the eyes of the law, it was particularly wrong, but the offense was undoubtedly wrong, means he didn't do anything. We wanted to know what kind of offense or what type of discourtesy he showed for that particular person. Here it was a question of please. The complainant entering the lift said top. The liftman demanded top please, and this consisting being refused, he not only declined to comply with the instruction but hurled the passenger out of the lift. So this particular person is only this particular thing, or the entire question is only related to one thing, that is the courtesy word please. So the complaint, that particular person who was thrown out of the lift, he complained to the authority, to the law, that this particular person, this young lift man, he threw him out of the lift because he didn't say the word please. When he entered that particular lift, he said top. The lift man demanded top please, means he said that I first told him top. But that man, he demanded top please. And if when I didn't, agree to his this particular thing, demand, that top please, he refused it, and he should not have refused it, but still he refused it, he declined it, and then without any prior notice, he just heard the passenger, he threw him out of the lift. So this of course was carrying a comment on manner too far. So this is like you are you are expecting too much courtesy from people, and when anybody does not give it, you are far enough to do anything for it. So this of course was carrying a comment on manner too far. Discourtesy is not a legal offense, and it does not excuse assault and battery. So discourtesy or behaving improperly with any person and showing no courtesy is not a legal offense, but it does not excuse assault and battery. So if a person showed discourtesy, this young liftman should not have assaulted and used battery on him. So here battery is not that particular battery which we use in our phones, or that cell AAA battery. It is not that battery. Assault and battery here means an attack which includes not only threats but also the actual use of violence. Means if he assault and battery here means that when we actually many a times we say many a things to many people in a fight, that I will kick you, I'll throw you out of here, I'll slap you. But while saying those things, if you do that things, then it becomes assault and battery. So if a burglar breaks into my house and I knock him down, the law will acquit me, and I am physically assaulted, it will permit me to retaliate with reasonable violence. So here he is giving a very nice example. Say a burglar is a robber breaks into your house and you knock him down. Okay, then the law will acquit me. Acquit me means the law will free you from all types of charges. Means anything you did to prevent a physical assault will be not held against you. It will permit me to retaliate with reasonable violence. It means that particular person, he tried to break into my house, he tried to rob me, he tried to beat me. So in self-defense, I had to hit him, I had to use violence against him. So in this, it does this because the burglar and my assailant have broken quite definite commands of the law. So this happened because there are some laws, and both the burglar as well as the assailant had broken some kind of laws. But no legal system could attempt to legislate against bad manners or could sanction the use of violence against something which it does not itself recognize as legally punishable offense. So he's trying to say that behaving improperly or showing discourtesy to any particular person or showing rudeness to a particular person is not against the law. It's not there in anywhere in the law that if you behave with somebody improperly, that particular person should use any kind of defense and beat that particular person. Or if any particular person is harming you with words, you should in return use your hand force. It is not there in the law. So this is actually a kind of offense itself. You don't have that command to use such kind of force, and it is not reasonable also. See here, and our sympathy with the lift man, we just admit that the law is reasonable. So this particular sympathy we are showing towards the man is reasonable, that he didn't do anything wrong, but according to the law it was wrong. So it would never do if we are at liberty to box people's ears because we did not like their behavior or the tone of their voices or the scowl on their faces. So it does not give you the people the right that if any person misbehaves with you verbally means he uses bad words for you, you have the right to thrash that person, or just he made a frown face means he didn't like your opinion, or he's not in mood of talking with you or such things. You do not have the right to break that person's face or beat him or assault him. Our fist would never be idle He's saying that our use of force would never be idle, and the gutters of the city would run with blood all day. So he is saying that the gutters of the city are actually, this means that if this would be the condition, if a person would actually, if the law would give you the right that you could beat any particular person who misbehaves with you or who shows discourtesy towards you, the city's gutter, this means that we would be fighting all the day, okay, and we would be spilling the blood all, everybody around, and the gutters of the city would never run out. Means you would be just, technically it means that we would always be fighting throughout the day, we would always be using our fists and we would be fighting. So the means this actually thing means that the people who show discourtesy will never end, but you at a particular point that you will feel exhausted and you will think that it's better not to use any form of force, to just leave the thing off. I may be as uncivil as I may please, and the law will protect me against violent retaliation. So he's saying that people may feel that I am uncivil, that I am thinking that I should use the fist of my force, or I should use the force in my fist. I should just keep on fighting for the people who are showing discourtesy towards me. And according to the law will think that I am uncivil. Uncivil person means uncivilized. I am not being able to living in the society. So I don't follow the civil ways. I may haughty. So haughty or boorish means arrogant or rude. And there is no penalty to pay except the penalty of being written down an ill-mannered fellow. So the particular writer is saying that there is no, people will feel that you are very arrogant and rude, and there is no penalty. You have to don't pay any charge if any particular person misbehaves verbally with you. Okay, there is no penalty, there is no charge. The law, charges from you. Just only if you write down that this particular person is ill-mannered fellow. The law does not compel me to say please or to attune my voice to other people's sensibilities, and any more than it says that I shall not wax my mustache or dye my hair or wear ringlets down my back. So this particular line means the law does not compel, means it does not make it very compulsory to me to say please to anybody, or I should use a very nice and proper voice, or I should auto-tone my voice to say good things to people, and it will not change any person's sensibilities, means his thought process. It will not please anybody's sensibilities. So or any more than it says that I shall not wax my mustache or dye my hair or wear ringlets down my back. So he is saying that there is no law, and if there would be law, then he should have waxed, means removed his mustache or dyed his hair. Okay, it does not recognize the laceration of our feelings as a case of compensation. So it says that the writer himself is saying that when people use words of discourtesy with you, it actually hurts you. So laceration here means a cut or tear. So there is a tear of your feelings. You feel very terrible when somebody uses discourtesy with you, speaks rudely with you, speaks arrogantly with you. You feel discouraged and you feel that there is a cut in your feelings against that particular person. So it does not recognize the laceration of our feelings as a case of compensation, and the law does not pay any compensation that this particular person, hence he is using words of discourtesy, or he is talking with you in an improper way, we will punish him. There is no such thing. So there is no allowance for moral and intellectual damages in these matters. So he is saying that there is no allowance, means nobody has to follow the moral and the moral ways of life, and everybody is following the immoral ways. There is no allowance for moral and intellectual damages in these matters. So there is no allowance means that people sometimes it happens that people will not accept the improper ways, okay, which will not appease you.